What is going on, guys? Back with another WWE update, and this is one of those stories that is getting more interesting the more you look at it. Because right now, WWE is clearly pushing Jacob Fatu in a very serious way, and the real reason behind it is becoming harder and harder to ignore. Roman Reigns is back on top. As World Heavyweight Champion, Jacob Fatu has already stepped into the picture, and suddenly, Backlash is starting to feel a whole lot bigger than people expected. So let's break it all down. Now, the first thing that stands out here is how quickly Jacob Fatu was moved into this position. WrestleMania 42 ends, Roman Reigns comes out of it as the World Heavyweight Champion. And almost immediately, Jacob is right there in the mix. That alone tells you a lot. WWE did not bring Jacob into this moment to make up the numbers. They did not put him across from Roman just to fill television time for a few weeks. They placed him right next to the biggest name on the brand, with the world title involved, straight after the biggest show of the year. That is not random booking. That is positioning. And this is exactly why people need to pay attention to what is happening here. In WWE, timing matters. Who gets put into the first major feud after WrestleMania matters. Who gets to stand across from the champion when all eyes are still on the product matters. It means the company clearly sees something in him that goes beyond just being another powerful wrestler on the roster. They are treating him like somebody who can immediately matter in the top picture. Then you look at what happened on SmackDown, and it only adds more weight to the idea. Jacob kept that momentum going by beating Solo Sikoa. And that was an important win for a couple of reasons. First of all, Solo is not just any name. He is someone tied closely to the whole Bloodline world, and beating him gives Jacob more credibility inside that same family orbit. But more importantly, it happened right after Jacob called out Roman Reigns. That creates a very clear pattern. WWE's not cooling him off after the confrontation. They are heating him up even more. That is the kind of thing you do when you want fans to start taking somebody seriously as a threat. Because let's be honest, this is what the company is really doing here. They are not presenting Jacob Fatu like a one-night challenger. They are presenting him like a dangerous force who could actually change the direction of the title picture. And that is a big difference. WWE has had plenty of title challengers over the years who show up, say a few words, lose the match, and disappear back down the card. Jacob does not feel like that right now. The way he is being booked, the way he is being protected, and the way he is being placed around Roman all suggests that the company wants the audience to see him as something bigger. Now, let's get to the real reason WWE is pushing him so hard, because I think it comes down to a few key things all coming together at once. The first one is obvious. Jacob brings instant physical credibility. The second you look at him, you buy him as a problem. He has the size, the power, the explosiveness, and that chaotic energy where it feels like things can go off the rails the moment he starts moving. Some wrestlers need weeks of promos and backstage segments to convince people they are dangerous. Jacob does not really need that. His aura does a lot of the work for him. And when you are putting somebody into a feud with Roman Reigns, that matters a lot. Roman is not a guy you can put against just anybody. If the opponent does not feel real, the match immediately feels smaller. Jacob does feel real. And that is a major reason this is working already. The second reason is the bloodline connection. Roman Reigns has spent years wrapped in that world. Even when the story changes, even when the title changes, even when the group around him shifts, the bloodline shadow is always there. So when you bring Jacob Fatu into Roman's orbit, you are not just setting up a title feud. You are tapping into a much bigger emotional and story-driven history. Fans already understand the family tension, the power struggle, the pride, and the violence that comes with these kinds of rivalries. That means the feud instantly feels deeper without WWE having to explain every little detail from scratch. Jacob being part of that same world makes the whole thing feel more important from the jump. The third reason is that Roman needs opponents who make him feel even bigger. That sounds backwards at first, but it is true. Great champions do not just need challengers, they need threats. Roman Reigns works best when it feels like there is real danger around him, when it feels like somebody across the ring can actually push him into a different level of intensity. That is exactly what Jacob offers. He is not polished in that overly safe, manufactured way. He feels unpredictable. He feels violent. He feels like somebody Roman cannot just control with presence alone. And when Roman has that kind of opponent, the story automatically gets stronger. The fourth reason is that WWE may be looking at Jacob as more than just a challenger. They may be looking at him as one of the next real breakout names. And if that is the case, this is exactly how you start building someone like that. You do not hide him in the mid-card for months. You do not keep him in meaningless matches, hoping people eventually notice. You throw him into a high-pressure spot and let the audience decide if he belongs. So far, Jacob looks like he belongs. Every time they put him in a bigger moment, he feels comfortable there. That is a huge sign. And the fifth reason is simple. Backlash needs something big. WrestleMania season is over. The dust has settled. Now, WWE has to prove that the momentum continues. One of the easiest ways to do that is to take a match that might have looked solid on paper and make it feel important. Roman Reigns versus Jacob is becoming that kind of match. It is not just champion versus challenger anymore. It is becoming a statement feud. Roman is trying to reestablish himself at the top with the world title in his hands, while Jacob is trying to prove that this new era may belong to him sooner than people expected. That is what makes the match bigger. And that is the real key here. The Roman Reigns Backlash match is growing because WWE is making sure Jacob does not feel like filler. They are giving him momentum, giving him meaningful wins, and putting him in moments that force the audience to look at him differently. That is how stars are made. Not by talking about potential forever, but by actually showing the audience that somebody is worth caring about right now. What also helps is that Jacob brings a completely different flavor to Roman's world than some of his past rivals. Roman has faced technical wrestlers, brawlers, legends, and former allies. Jacob feels different because he combines brute force with that family link and that loose cannon energy. He is not just chasing the title. He feels like someone crashing into Roman's kingdom and testing. The answer is becoming pretty clear. He gives them power, danger, storyline, depth, bloodline history, and a fresh opponent who can make Roman's title run feel hotter right away. That is not a coincidence. That is design. The company clearly sees value in putting Jacob in this spot, and they are booking him like they want the audience to see that value too. And that is why this Backlash match keeps getting bigger. Not because WWE is telling people it matters, but because the booking is making it matter. Jacob Fatu is being built like a serious force. Roman Reigns has a dangerous new problem on his hands, and if this keeps going the way it is going, Jacob may be stepping into the biggest spotlight of his WWE career so far. So now, the real question becomes this. Is Jacob just getting a huge opportunity, or is WWE quietly telling us that he is about to become one of the company's next major players?